بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد، قال الإمام صاحب العصر والزمان صلوات الله وسلامه عليه: O Ali ibn Muhammad al-Samari, may Allah increase the rewards of your brothers upon your demise. Death will overtake you in the next 6 days. Therefore finish your work and do not appoint a successor, for the period of the special successors has now ended, and the period of the greater occultation will begin upon your demise. Now the reappearance will occur only with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after a prolonged period where the hearts have hardened. Then you will see that our Shia will emerge upon them a group of people who will claim to have seen me. Whoever claims to have seen me before the advent of the Sufyani and the heavenly cry is a liar and an impostor, and there is no strength and power except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first of our salawat in honor of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The second in honor of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. The third with your loudest voices in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. Respected scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Ali bin Muhammad al-Samari occupies a prominent position in the history of the religion of Islam as being known as the fourth and final ambassador of Imam al-Mahdi, Ajjalallah Farajahu al-Sharif. Indeed, you find this person's repute is the highest of repute. He was only Safir of the Imam for 3 years. Yet even in those 3 years, you find that he had arguably one of the most important tasks in Shia history. He would have what is seen as the final tawqi' from the Imam to any of his sufara who he had formerly chosen. Indeed, you find that these sufara, all 4 of them, had a role in communicating the message of the Imam to the masses of the Shia. Uthman bin Sa'id, Muhammad bin Uthman, Hussein bin Rawh, and the final one, Ali bin Muhammad al-Samari, all had the duty of providing guidance from the Imam towards the followers of Ahlul Bayt. Indeed, in that 70-odd year period, you found that many of the Shia were now getting accustomed to the idea of the possibility that their Imam may not be with them for a period of time longer than what they had expected. And indeed, you find that that tawqi' which the Imam had given to Ali bin Muhammad is a tawqi' of the utmost importance, because the amount of messages within that one tawqi', within that one letter, is indeed messages which we can all use within our lives today. He says to him, O Ali bin Muhammad, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase the reward of your brothers upon your demise. Death will overtake you in the next 6 days. Therefore finish your work and do not appoint a successor. The period of the special successors has now ended, and upon your demise is the period of the greater occultation. Now the reappearance is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will be a prolonged period, and the hearts will be hardened. And then he says to him, whoever claims to have seen me is a liar and an imposter. When you look at that message of the Imam, that is arguably the final message of the Imam before the commencement of the greater ghaibah. There's a number of questions which are to be asked in relation to this whole analysis. The first of them, without a doubt, is how does the Imam know the death of someone who's his successor, considering knowledge of death is only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The Imam within this letter tells him that death will overtake you when? Death will overtake you within the next 6 days. Surely this goes against the tenets of the religion of Islam on the first level. On the second level, you find the Imam making it clear, whoever claims to have met me or claims to have seen me before the advent of the Sufyani and before the heavenly cry is a liar. Someone turns around and says, but hold on, all our lives we had a couple of presumptions. The first of them is we've heard many majalis of stories of people who've met the 12th Imam. Yes? Many times we've heard Allam al-Hilli met the 12th Imam. Shaykh al-Mufid met the 12th Imam. Muqaddas al-Ardabili met the 12th Imam. Sayyid Mahdi Bahr al-Ulum met the 12th Imam. If now we are told in the final tawqi' from the Imam to Ali bin Muhammad al-Samari in the beginning of what is known now as the greater ghaibah, he says to him, whoever claims to have met me is a liar and an imposter. Does that mean the Imam is saying that the likes of Mufid and Hilli and Ardabili and the likes of Mahdi Bahr al-Ulum were all liars and imposters? Secondly, many of us grew up being told that our maraji' meet the 12th Imam. Yes, as in many of us, when we were growing up, we were told that the maraji' talk to the 12th Imam. The 12th Imam turns around in his final words saying, anyone who claims to talk with me is a liar and an imposter. Therefore, you found many of our understandings concerning the 12th Imam are in a way shaken by this tawqi'. Many of our previous ideas about the fact that the 12th Imam may meet people surely are shaken because of these words. Even sometimes you hear people saying to you, the 12th Imam, you'll meet him in Hajj. Others say to you, when you're stuck on a journey, the 12th Imam will help you. Others, even from their own families, will say that my mother met the 12th Imam, my grandmother dreamt of the 12th Imam, we were helped by the 12th Imam. The 12th Imam tells Muhammad, Ali bin Muhammad al-Samari, he says to him, whoever claims that they have met me is a liar and an imposter. This has caused major differences today even within the Shia world. One school of ulama prides itself on collecting stories of the 12th Imam and who's met him. Another school comes out and says, no, those people who tell you they met him, it's all nonsense. No one has met him since the minor ghaibah. Yes, Uthman bin Sa'id al-Amri, Muhammad bin Uthman, someone like Hussein bin Rawh, or Ali bin Muhammad al-Samari. Yes, these people have met the 12th Imam. But anyone else who tells you they met the 12th Imam, they saw him on a journey, they got stuck, they made up the story. Listen, I remember even on one occasion someone telling me that I wish I could meet the 12th Imam in Hajj. And even they will tell you that yes, I did meet him. You say, well, how do you know it was him? Oh, I had the feeling that it was him. But hold on, having the feeling it's him, what's the feeling? The feeling's not going to get me or you anyway, yes? If clearly it's written in the tawqi', whoever claims to have seen me is a liar and an imposter, how then do I reconcile? As in, on the one hand, I've got all of these people who are telling me they met the Imam. On the other hand, the Imam 6 days before he goes into the great ghaibah is telling us, whoever claims to have met me is a liar. Now, do I turn around to all those who've claimed to have met the Imam? Do I turn around to all of them and say, listen, anytime you tell me you've met the 12th Imam, you're a liar? Because that brings on to another question, which is what? Which is then, what's the point of the 12th Imam if I can't meet him, correct? As if the 12th Imam has been in major ghaibah, what's the point of him in my life if I have no access to meet him? There are therefore many a clash on this discussion. Someone asks a question before we enter the analysis. How do I know that these 4 safirs of the 12th Imam actually were talking to him. Yes? For all I know, these people were making up their discussions. They made up letters and they came to the people and they said to them that, listen, we met the 12th Imam and this is what he advised you. I wasn't there to see them talk to the 12th Imam, was I? I wasn't there. And even those who claim they were there, how do we know that these are the wakils of the 12th Imam? You find in certain academic circles, people brought up this point. The Shia, because they were oppressed the whole of their life, they made up the story of these 4 wakils who were still in touch with their 12th Imam. Said that there was no such thing as these 4 wakils being in touch. But the Shia needed something to keep the community hoping. Yes? The community, because it was fragmented after the 12th Imam went into Ghaiba, that community needed a story or needed a personality who would say that they're talking to the 12th Imam. Certain academic circles say, therefore, that this stories of the tawqi'at is all nonsense. All it was the Shia needed some sort of myth to let them know that their Imam still cares for them. Firstly, we answer this question by saying what? On the first level, this particular point would be a valid point if the concept of the 12th Imam emerged out of a vacuum. What do I mean? If the concept of the 12th Imam having wukala emerged out of a vacuum, then one could argue, yes, these 4 wukala, you may have a point. That these 4 wukala are wukala of which level? Are wukala of the idea of that these wukala are people who have just emerged to make up these stories. But we know Imam al-Sadiq had wukala, Imam al-Kadhim had wukala, Imam al-Rada had wukala, Imam al-Jawad had wukala, Imam al-Hadi had wukala, Imam al-Askari had wukala. Those who would have heard the previous nights would know what I'm talking about. Those who haven't would be in absolute no man's land. You find with the Imams from Imam al-Sadiq onwards, Imam al-Sadiq, Imam al-Kadhim, Imam al-Rada, Imam al-Jawad, Imam al-Hadi, Imam al-Askari, all of them had wukala. Someone who comes and tells me that your 12th Imam, these wakils of his is all made up. Hold on. Did not Imam al-Sadiq had wakils like Mu'alla bin Khunais? Did not Imam al-Kadhim have wakils like Muhammad bin Abi Umar? Did not Imam al-Rada alayhi salam have wakils like Abdurrahman bin Hajjaj or later on Ayyub bin Nuh? We didn't just bring out the concept of wukala on behalf of the Imam from a vacuum. We brought it out from the fact that since the time of Imam al-Sadiq, there has already been an underground organization. Since the time of Imam al-Sadiq, there was already an underground organization that had discussed all of these ideas. Therefore, when you come towards the understanding of this particular concept, there are many questions that need to be understood over here. Because Ali bin Muhammad has the final tawqi' on behalf of the 12th Imam, and that final tawqi' is pretty clear. Whoever claims to have seen me is a liar and an imposter. Yes? And that is one of the strongest statements ever made. I'd like to examine this particular statement in the context of the 4th wakil in the following stages. Number 1, how noble was the Samari family? And from which lineage were they? And how were they servants of Ahlul Bayt throughout? Number 2, when the 12th Imam tells Ali bin Muhammad, death will overtake you in 6 days. How can an Imam know when someone is dying when Allah clearly mentions only He knows when the souls are being taken away? Number 3, when you come to the idea of meeting the Imam, what is the central debate that occurs in relation to meeting the Imam? Is there any way anyone has met the Imam? And why is it the Imam was adamant on saying, those who claim to have seen me are liars? Number 4, those who have met the Imam, did they necessarily know it was him? Or did they only realize later? And of those who had met him, were they all ulama? Or could you just be a simple lover of the Imam and have the chance to meet him? Let me examine this in order that I make this topic completely clear. You find Ali bin Muhammad al-Samari. A Samari family or a Samri family was one of the most noble families of Basra. Basra is in the south of Iraq. And it was known as being one of the most noble families to have served the Ahlul Bayt. As in, Ali bin Muhammad was not chosen by Imam Sahib al-Zaman to be his Safir from a vacuum. It wasn't some random person. Normally the Imams, if they choose a Safir, they have a certain criteria for that particular Safir. The first criteria is what? Reliability. The second is what? Trustworthiness. The third is what? Wisdom. Yes? Two areas the Imams weren't necessarily concerned with was family and wealth. Yes? These two areas may be important, but the most important areas was what? Are you someone trustworthy from that family? Are you someone reliable with your wordings? I don't want me to tell you something and you go and tell our Shia something completely different, because all of our Shia's hopes, all of them hinge on you delivering the message properly. The Imams, when they chose the Wakil, criteria number one, trustworthiness. Number two, reliability. Number three, wisdom, knowing what to say and when to say it. Ali bin Muhammad's family had been servants of Ahl al-Bayt since the time of Imam al-Rida. Yes? They didn't start with the 12th Imam. From the time of Imam al-Rida, his grandparents and his uncles had already served Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. And you know which way they served Ahl al-Bayt? Two ways. With their wealth and with their knowledge. What do I mean? Sometimes when you want to be a servant of the Ahl al-Bayt, someone asks the question, how can I be a servant of Al Muhammad? Normally there are two ways in which a person can dedicate his life to Ahl al-Bayt. Either by spending out of their wealth to the cause of Al Muhammad, because they believe the embodiment of rizq and its origin is Al Muhammad, or by disseminating knowledge on behalf of Ahl al-Bayt. What do I mean? Ali bin Muhammad, amongst his relatives, he had two relatives, Hassan and Muhammad, the sons of Ismail bin Salih and Ali bin Ziyad. These two used to be extremely wealthy in Basra. Imagine, half of Basra was their land. When you own that much, sometimes that land overtakes you. Sometimes you overtake that land. What do I mean? There are certain people, however much wealth they have, their wealth is their be-all and end-all. You tell him, give towards Al Muhammad, serve Al Muhammad, give towards the cause. They turn around to you and they say, you know what, at the moment times are hard, times are difficult, we can't really give much. Habibi, your car is more expensive than the whole mosque. Yes? He said, no, you know, times are extremely difficult for us to give towards the cause of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam. You turn around, you say, but I just saw you and you've just been on a holiday. That must have cost you at least $30,000-$40,000. Times are hard, you don't understand. It's very difficult for me to give towards Al Muhammad. Yes? He had two cousins who were young, but they were massive landowners. When you'd come and ask them for a donation for Imam al-Askari and Imam al-Hadi, yes? Imam al-Hadi and Imam al-Askari were going through difficult times. When they asked Hassan, son, and they asked Hassan and Muhammad, sons of Salih bin Ismail and Ali bin Ziyad al-Samari, they asked them, is there anything you give? Do you know what they said? They said, oh Imams, half of our business are for Al Muhammad, yes? They turned around, they said, Al Muhammad are our partners in wealth. The reason we have become successful is not because of us. Who us? We're nothing. Al Muhammad's blessings in our life is what built our businesses, yes? One of the ways in which a person becomes successful in this world is when they make the 12th Imam a partner of their business, yes? Not in khums or zakat. Anyone can give khums and zakat. It's not that difficult. It's when you give the things you don't need to give towards the 12th Imam's cause, yes? Khums, wajib. Zakat, wajib. It's when you give out of your money, that's not wajib, that you've made him a partner in your cause. His cousins, Hassan and Muhammad, of the Samari family in Basra, half of their land they would dedicate to Imam al-Hadi and Imam al-Askari alayhim salam. People would come and say, but you know the Imams don't need that much. And they would reply, whatever we give is little for Al Muhammad. Yes? Al Muhammad deserve more. Therefore, from one angle, his family, the Samari family, used to give a lot towards Al Muhammad. But from another angle, whatever knowledge they had, they would try and write on behalf of Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam. He had a cousin called Ali bin Ziyad al-Samari. Yes? Ali bin Ziyad wrote a book, one of the best works on the 12th Imam, Kitab al-Awsiya. Kitab al-Awsiya, what was it? He had gathered all the proofs of the 12th Imam's existence. From all of the ahadith, from all the works that have reached us today, the works that haven't. As in, there are certain works about the 12th Imam sadly aren't with us today. We only have fragments of them. Because you know how many of the books of Al Muhammad they burnt, yes? Many books of Ahl al-Bayt they burnt in the libraries about the 12th Imam. Kitab al-Mashyakh of Zarrad, Kitab al-Ghayba of Fadl bin Shahdan. Fantastic works about the 12th Imam during the lives of the Imams, not after, yes? These people were writing about the Ahlul Bayt during the lives of the Imams. Ali bin Ziyad, the cousin of Ali bin Muhammad al-Samari, had written a phenomenal work, Kitab al-Awsiya. Many were wondering, why do you need to write a book about Ahlul Bayt? I said, what's the benefit? The benefit is generations will know about Imam al-Zaman from that book, yes? Because the ink of the scholar is greater than the blood of the martyr, yes? The ink of the scholar builds generations for centuries, yes? Plato may have died, but the Republic remains a pivotal in society today, yes? Other works of Shakespeare may have died. His works are pivotal within society today. Wordsworth, Shelley, Byron, all of their poetry remains pivotal in society today. The likes of these personalities knew, when I dedicate my life to Al Muhammad, it's not just about dedicating my money, it's about also writing on behalf of Al Muhammad, yes? Whatever book you can write, whatever poem you can write, the Samari family in Basra, why did 12th Imam make their son his fourth wakil? There are many others who are alive who could have deserved that fourth wikala. There are many powerful names of the Shia who are alive. But powerful is not enough. Show us dedication, yes? There are many who are powerful Shia, but not dedicated Shia, yes? You'll see them if you're lucky, maybe Muharram and Ramadan. They're very generous, mind you. But Muharram and Ramadan, Imam al-Jawad, Imam al-Hadi, you'll be lucky if he comes to the mosque, yes? That type of Shia is not what the Imam was looking for. The Imam was looking for that Shia. His whole life was dedicated to Al Muhammad. Therefore, that Ali bin Muhammad was respected by all his peers. Mind you, he was not as famous as Hussein bin Rawh or Muhammad bin Uthman. Those were famous characters. He was a basic man, a simple man, but a servant of the community. There wasn't a black dot on his reputation. And even at the beginning, when some people doubted him, he said, look, don't doubt me. I tell you that I'm meeting the 12th Imam. Anytime you want anything, I'll ask the 12th Imam on your behalf. Sometimes people doubted until Sheikh al-Saduq's brother Hussein stood up for Ali bin Muhammad al-Samari. How? Sheikh al-Saduq's brother Hussein found out that Ali bin Muhammad, certain people were doubting if he's the fourth Safir of the 12th Imam. Do you know what he said to them? He said, I'll prove to you that Ali bin Muhammad is Safir of the 12th Imam and that he talks with the 12th Imam. They said to him, how? He said, you know my father, the father of Sheikh al-Saduq, yes, Ali bin Babawayh. He says, my father in the last year of his life, every week, Ali bin Muhammad would write us a letter. How's your father's health? How's your father's health? We were wondering, why is he writing every single week? Every week he's up. And we replied back, he's good, he's good, he's good. Until one time, he wrote to us, he said, I'm giving you condolences. May Allah bless the soul of your father. They said, we were wondering, why is he giving us this letter? May Allah bless the soul of your father. It turned out only a few days later, our father passed away. He said, at that moment we realized that nobody would know our father's going to pass away unless that person was in communication with the Imam at the time, yes? In other words, there were only a handful of people who doubted him as Safir. He was Safir for 3 years only. But even then, those who doubted him, they were of the loyal Shia who stood up for him. Therefore, the 12th Imam gave him the final tawqiyah. Final tawqiyah in which sense? The final letter from the 12th Imam to the Shia was given a week before Ali bin Muhammad died. How does the letter begin? O Ali bin Muhammad, may Allah increase the reward of your brothers upon your demise. Death will take you over in 6 days. Question, how does an Imam know when someone's dying? Quran says only Allah knows, correct? Quran says only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows when someone's dying. How does the Imam know when someone's dying? And even the Quran makes it clear. In which way? Quran says knowledge of the unseen is only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes? Quran, for example, says what? Quran says وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِعُ الْغَيْبِ لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا There is no, he has the keys of the unseen. No one has access to these keys except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Further than that, the Holy Prophet himself admits he doesn't have ilm al-ghayb. Yes? The Holy Prophet in Surah 7 verse 188 says, وَلَوْ كُنْتُ أَعْلَمُ الْغَيْبِ لَاسْتَكْثَرْتُ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ. Yes? If I had knowledge of the unseen, I would have used it for my own benefit. If Rasulullah says I don't have ilm al-ghayb, Allah says only I have ilm al-ghayb, how could the 12th Imam say to Ali bin Muhammad, death will come upon you in 6 days, I send my condolences to you? Why? Never pick verses out of the Quran, out of context. Look what other verses say as well, yes? One side are going to show you these verses, but there are other verses that indicate sometimes Allah may want to share His ilm with some of His chosen personalities, yes? For example, Surah 72 verse 26, عالم الغيب فلا يظهر على غيبه أحدا إلا من ارتضى من رسول. He has knowledge of the unseen. He doesn't reveal this knowledge to anyone إلا, except who He chooses from His messengers. Yes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has full knowledge of the unseen. He won't give it to anyone except who He chooses. And in another ayah, الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من إلا بما شاء. That none has access to His ilm except who He chooses. What does that mean? Is there a contradiction in the Quran? One ayah Allah says only I have ilm al-ghayb. Another ayah He says I choose. No, it's not contradiction. Independent ilm al-ghayb is only with Allah. Whoever He gives it to is dependent on Allah for that ilm. Yes? When an ayah says only I have ilm al-ghayb, that means only I can access ilm al-ghayb when I want, none of you. Yes? But when an ayah says I decide to give it, that means whoever can have some ilm al-ghayb is dependent of Allah, not independent. Yes? Therefore, the 12th Imam, when he tells Ali bin Muhammad, death will come upon you in 6 days, firstly, he hasn't told him exactly when. Exact moment of death is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? But the period of when you're going to die is going to be when? Within 6 days. But then he says something very interesting to him. He says to him, death will come upon you within 6 days. Therefore, finish your work and don't appoint a successor. Yes? Because the period of special successors is over upon your death. Then he says, now with my reappearance, only Allah knows when He will give permission. The period will be long. Number one, he says the hearts will be hardened. Very good point. Why? Naturally, when your Imam is not amongst you, your heart will be hardened without his presence. Yes? As in all of us, our heart would be softened, no doubt, if there was an Imam with us, leading us, talking to us. When Imam went into Ghaiba, he knew some of the Shia would begin to doubt his existence. So he said, the hearts of the Shia will be hardened. And it did. As soon as the minor Ghaiba finished, some of the Shia started turning around saying, you know what? I bet he was all a myth. I don't even think he exists. I don't believe in him. Then there was another group who said, you know what? He's now what? 73, 74 years old. That's the normal lifespan for a human being. Yes? He's probably dead now. Forget about him. Then there was another group who said, you never know, he might become alive later on. Some of the hearts hardened because of the Ghaiba. Some people began to doubt the Imam. Do you know who Allah chose to help those who felt their heart was hardened? He chose a set of ulama who began to write books to soften the hearts of the Shia in what was a difficult period. Yes? That period, you know what they call it? The ulama? Al-hira, confusion. There was utter confusion. Imagine, you think your Imam's going to come, he's going to come, he's going to come, he's going to come. All of a sudden, Ali bin Muhammad says, sorry, that's it. It's going to be a long time before he comes. There was a few of the Shia said, you know what, forget this. I'm not believing in him. A long time, I'm not believing. I was waiting in this minor Ghaiba 70 years for him. And now he decides. And Allah decides that we don't deserve him. Some rejected, others rejected, others joined other schools. The Zaydis and the Mu'tazila were working hard to attack the belief in the 12th Imam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose ulama to soften the hearts of the Shia. Who? An-Na'mani wrote Kitab al-Ghayba. He noticed that some of the Shia were beginning to doubt the 12th Imam, so he wrote Kitab al-Ghayba, available with us until today. Shaykh al-Tusi wrote Kitab al-Ghayba. Shaykh al-Saduq wrote Kamal al-Din wa Tamam al-Ni'mah. These ulama wrote these books. Why? Why did they write these books? Because they were noticing some of their best Shia friends were saying, you know what? What's this minor ghaiba, major ghaiba? Forget all of this. I'm not believing in no Mahdi anymore. I don't believe in any of this anymore. So Shaykh al-Saduq wrote Kitab al-Ghayba, Kamal al-Din. Shaykh al-Tusi, Kitab al-Ghayba. Shaykh al-Nu'mani, Kitab al-Ghayba. All of a sudden there were a series of books called Ghayba, 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 Ghayba. Why? Because just in case a Shia says, I don't believe that in an Imam I can't see, but hold on, you believe in Nabi Isa, don't you? Don't you or no? So if you believe in Nabi Isa, what's the problem of believing in an Imam you can't see? Oh yes, you're right, Shaykh al-Saduq, thank you so much, now I understand. Then someone turns around and says, I don't believe in an Imam who's going to live for the next 100 years, 200,000 years. No one could live that long. Shaykh al-Nu'mani would write down, but do you believe shaitans lived since time immemorial? Yes, so if shaitans live that long, what's wrong with Allah wants to make this Imam live a bit longer? Oh yes, yes, mashallah, you're right, sorry. I'm sorry for the confusion that's affected me. Then someone else turns around and says, well, that's Imam, if he existed, why doesn't he come out? Why is he making us wait? Shaykh al-Saduq was asked this question in front of Rukn al-Dawla. In front of Rukn al-Dawla, Shaykh al-Saduq was asked, if the Mahdi is really around, why doesn't he come out and help his Shia? And at that moment, Shaykh al-Saduq replied, same as Rasulullah. There are times where you come out openly with your message. There are times you are secretive with your message. Rasulullah, at the beginning of his Risala, was secretive with his Risala. Then later on, Rasulullah went out to everyone and told them the Risala. Yes? Likewise, his grandson. At the beginning, secretive. Later on, the whole world will know. These three ulama, An-Nu'mani, Tusi, Saduq, wrote books because the Shia were doubting. Then, from moving from a traditional sphere, there was now a movement of the rational reasons why the 12th Imam exists. What do I mean? The traditional circles were only interested in hadiths about the 12th Imam. Then there was the rational circles. They said, listen, don't give me hadiths. Rationally explain to me why the Mahdi, I should believe, still exists. Two ulama stood out in defending the rational conception of the Mahdi. Who are they? Shaykh al-Mufid and Sharif al-Murtada. May Allah bless their souls. Yes? Shaykh al-Mufid came out with a book, Al-Usul al-Ashra fil Ghayba. It is the rational reasons why we should believe in the 12th Imam being in Ghayba. Rational, not traditional. Rational. Allah would never leave the earth without a proof. Do you agree? Because Allah in the Quran says to the Prophet, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنذِرٌ وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ. O Muhammad, you are a warner. For every nation I will always have a guide. Is it rational that Allah gave the past nations 124,000 prophets and leaves the rest of humanity without a guide on the earth? It's not rational. Allah has to have a proof on this earth for this earth not to swallow its inhabitants. Therefore he would give the rational reasons. Further than that, he would give another rational reason. Islam still hasn't dominated over all. The caliphs who came in changed the religion of Islam. Therefore Allah has made a promise that Islam as a religion will prevail. It still hasn't prevailed. So rationally the 12th Imam still has to be around so that there's a day where rationally Islam will take over. In other words, Shaykh al-Mufid and Sharif al-Murtada highlighted what? That the first defense when the Shia hearts were hardened about the 12th Imam, first they wrote books about his ghayba from traditional angle, then they wrote books about his ghayba from the rational angle. But then the 12th Imam says what to Ali bin Muhammad? He says to him, there will come a time where people will tell my Shia that they have seen me. Whoever claims to have seen me before the advent of the Sufyani and the heavenly cry is a liar and an imposter. Hold on a minute. All my life I've heard stories of people who've met the 12th Imam, and now the fourth wakil of the 12th Imam is saying whoever says this is a liar and an imposter. So what do I do with those people who've told me their stories? Yes? The ones who are adamant that they've met the 12th Imam, what do I do with them? You find very clearly that this became an issue. Yes, the Sufyani and the heavenly cry are normally seen as the main signs upon the reappearance of the 12th Imam, although we'll discuss those opinions later on. But you find that this was a major point that was mentioned, no doubt. It was a point that came up, that if you people believe in the 12th Imam, and you believe he can be seen, I'm telling you, whoever says that they've met him is a liar and imposter. What does it mean? There are two types of people who see the 12th Imam. There is the one who claims they recognized him and they meet him regularly and they sit with him. And the second is the one who only realizes it's the 12th Imam when the man's gone. The first type are liars, the ones who tell you they meet the 12th Imam regularly. Yes, today in Iraq I've heard people who've married the 12th Imam's son-in-law and daughter-in-law, and they're married to his sister and they're having breakfast with him every Sunday morning. Yes, those people are the ones who this tawqi' refers to. Liar and imposter. It's the one who claims to have seen me, meaning what? The one who claims that they recognized me as soon as they saw me. Yes? And they claim that they sit with me on a regular basis. Someone says, why not? You're telling me someone can't do that? Do you know why the 12th Imam said liar is the one who claims to know me and see me and sit with me and so on? The reason he said that is because anyone can say that, yes? Any of us today can say, yesterday I was having dinner with the 12th Imam, so he told me to tell Nairobi Jamaat that they should give me a donation of $15 million, otherwise he won't like any of them. Yes? Some of you will turn around, I guarantee you will straight away deny the 12th Imam, that's for sure. Others of you may turn around and say, imposter. I can turn around and say, how can you prove I'm an imposter? You're like, I'm like, how can you prove that I'm an imposter? How? Can you see the 12th Imam? No, you can't. So how can you prove that I'm lying? How do you know I never had dinner with him last night and he didn't say that to me? I'm going to make all of you people go towards hellfire if you don't listen to me. Yes? Do you know what the problem is with someone who says that? Every Tom, Dick and Harry can come out and say he meets the 12th Imam and then make up stories on behalf of the 12th Imam and lie about the 12th Imam. Yes? Ahlul Bayt said two things. كَذِبَ الْوَقَّاتُونَ. Number one, whoever gives you a time for when I'm reappearing, they are liars. Number two, whoever claims to have seen me means what? Those who claim that they're having regular meetings with me. Yes? Not the one who doesn't know it's the 12th Imam and then later realizes that may have been the 12th Imam. There's a difference between the two, yes? Most of the stories we hear about those who met the 12th Imam, did they know it was him at the moment or did they find out later on? Later on, do you agree? Never will you hear Shaykh al-Mufid or Allam al-Hilli or any of those ones say, we met the 12th Imam and he said this is what the Shia should do. Never. In the greater ghaiba, no one can dare say to you that I meet the 12th Imam regularly. All of you give me your khums because I'm the one who meets him regularly. No one can. That is what this tawqi' is referring to. What's it referring to? The idea that those who tell you they're talking to him regularly, they're liars and they are imposters. Yes? But that doesn't deny that there are those who met the 12th Imam without knowing it's the 12th Imam. Yes? A person who tells you, I met the 12th Imam knowing it's him is a liar. A person who tells you, I met an Arab man, didn't know it was him. But when he helped me with something, I realized who it was. That person doesn't fall under the category of liar or under the category of imposter. Someone says, only the ulama can have that moment. No. You could be a student at university. If you love your 12th Imam, you'll have that moment. You could be an official serving the Jama'at. If you love the 12th Imam, you'll have that moment. You could be someone obedient to your mother and father and show no disrespect to them ever in your life. You can meet him. And you could be an alim of the ulama of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Someone says, what do you mean? Let me give you an example. Sheikh Hussein Ansariyan narrates, one day I was on a bus journey, we were going somewhere, and the time came for dhuhr. Yes? When the time came for dhuhr, I was sitting there, and you know, I'm wearing a turban and everything, and it was quite difficult in those days, in the Shah days, that some of us turbans were facing some difficulties. So he says that it came for the time of dhuhr. And me as a Maulana, really, at the time of dhuhr, 1:15, I should do what? At 1:15, I should straight away go and pray, for example. He said, but I thought to myself, you know what, let me wait until we get there. 2 o'clock, 2:30, I'll pray dhuhr. He said, next to me, there was a young man, t-shirt, jeans, yes? You look at him, you'll never think he's religious. And that young man, when you looked at him, he thought to himself, you know what, I'm sitting next to this young man, he's probably going to make fun of me because I'm wearing a turban, he's probably going to say these mullahs, these akhuns, yes? He said at 1:15, all of a sudden, the young man with the t-shirt and jeans taps on the driver and says to him, do you mind if we stop for salah? Sheikh Hussein turned around and he said, I wasn't even planning to stop for salah and I'm Maulana Sahib, yes? Because of course Maulana Sahib is the embodiment of looking religious. So, at that moment, when that happened, at that moment, he tapped him, they got off, they prayed salah. When they finished salah, Sheikh Hussein says, I went to him, I said, young man, I need to ask you a question. He said, yes. He said, I've got to admit, when I saw you walk in, spiky hair, t-shirt, jeans, I didn't think that this person is going to stop the driver at the time of salah. Yes, I never thought that at all. He said, what made you stop at the time of salah? Why? He said, Sheikhna, it's simple. He said, you know, Sheikhna, I was studying medicine at university. Best student, never missed any of the exams, the top grades. I was always top of my class. He said, but sadly, the one area in my life which I was neglecting was what? There were certain religious things I was neglecting. And I've got to admit, the idea of Imam Sahib al-Zaman, these things didn't make much sense to me, yes? He said, my final medical exam, Sheikhna, final medical exam. He said, we're on our way to the university. The pride of my parents is now going to be achieved. We're on our way to university. All of a sudden, there's a puncture on one of the tires for the bus taking us to the exam. He said, if I don't attend this exam, there is no way that they'll let me off. There's no way they'll tell me, oh, sorry, you know what, we'll give you another chance. No chance. That's it. 5 years of medicine gone down the drain. He said, at that moment, I was wondering, what am I going to do? He said, I used to remember my grandma said to me one thing. Whenever you're in trouble, say, Ya Sahib al-Zaman. Yes. Whenever you're in trouble, say, Ya Sahib al-Zaman. He said, at that moment, I thought to myself, you know what? My grandma keeps calling this man, Ya Sahib al-Zaman, Ya Sahib al-Zaman. So let me call out his name at this moment. So you know what he shouted? He said, Ya Sahib Zaman Jaddati. Yes? Oh, master of the time of my grandmother. He doesn't know what Sahib Zaman means, yes? So he said, oh, master of the time of my grandma. Meaning, that you who my grandma always talks about, I beg you help me. And he said, I made a vow. If you help me at this moment on behalf of Allah, I will make sure that my salahs are going to be on time forever. Yes? He made that vow. He said at that moment, while I was thinking that, he said this person came out of the blue. He said, you know what? Everything's been fixed. All of you can go on your way. We turned around. We're wondering what's going on. I said, what do you mean everything's fixed? He said, don't worry. So he thought to himself, you know what? Let me go and thank this person. You know, he's just saved my whole degree. He said, I went to look for him. There was no one there. He said, at that moment I realized my grandma Sahib al-Zaman, at that moment, may have been the one who had helped me at that time. All I did was what? Ya Sahib al-Zaman, I want to talk to you. That I want you to help me now, but I promise in return, my salahs will always be on time. He said, Sheikh Hussein, do you know why I just stopped the coach? Because I made it a vow, I don't care on which journey I am. My salah is what brings me my success with Sahib al-Zaman. Yes? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Therefore you find on the first level, the ulama, no, there could be the most normal student of Ahlul Bayt, a normal student, but he has the love for Imam Sahib al-Zaman. Yes, he won't meet him on a regular basis, but when he says, Ya Sahib al-Zaman, at that moment he may be helped. But then sometimes the ulama of Ahlul Bayt even get that virtue, yes, of having met Sahib al-Zaman. And one of them, Ayatollah al-Najafi al-Mar'ashi, Ayatollah Mar'ashi al-Najafi, the owner of the famous library in Qom. Yes, one of the biggest libraries you'll ever see in the Shia world is his library in Qom. He narrates the story of how he met Imam Sahib al-Zaman. Yes, he didn't say, I knew it was Sahib al-Zaman, because whoever says that is a liar. It's only when he leaves you that you realize who it could have been. Yes, He said, I was on my way to visit Muhammad, son of Imam al-Hadi in Balad. May Allah bless all of us to return there, inshallah. Muhammad, brother of Imam al-Askari in Balad. He said, I was on my way. It was so hot on my way. He said, I got so dehydrated. I was in such difficulty. He said, I fell down. The next time I woke up, there was a man in front of me. He looked towards me. He said to me, where are you heading? He said, I'm on my way to Muhammad, son of Imam al-Hadi. He looked at me at that moment. He said to me, you are here, do not worry. He said, I looked up, subhanallah, I was at Muhammad, son of Imam al-Hadi's shrine. The last time I remember falling over, I was far away. He said, that man looked at me. He said to me, Najafi Marashi. He said, I want to give you some advice to give to our Shia. He said, when he said that, I began to wonder, how does he know my name? Why does he want to give advice to Shia? He said, but it didn't click. Yes? He just said that. He said that to me. I said, yes, go ahead. Whatever you want to give, I'll pass on the message. He said, tell our Shia there are certain things they shouldn't neglect. Allah. At that moment, Najafi Marashi says to him, what are they? He said, the first, tell them not to neglect the Quran. Yes? Let them be close to the Quran. There are many of us, we want to be with Sharik al-Quran, we hardly read Quran the whole year. I guarantee you there are Shia in this world who don't know more than 4 surahs of Quran, and I'm willing to talk with anyone about this, 4 surahs. Yes? That's all. And we want to be with Sahib al-Zaman, Khalifat al-Rahman, Sharik al. He said the first thing, tell them not to neglect the Quran. Second thing, tell them not to neglect their parents, whether they are alive or they have died. Yes? Look at Al Muhammad. Before they get into anything else, they say parents, whether they are dead or they are alive. Your parents, if they are with you today, don't neglect them, don't abandon them, don't lose your temper with them. But if they are dead, then do a majlis on their behalf every year. Honor that majlis with the names of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. Do a umrah on their behalf. Build a mosque on their behalf. He said the second thing, the parents. Third thing, tell our Shia to always wear an aqiq ring on their hand. Yes? And let it have the names of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt on the aqiq. And then, when they know someone has died, let them place the aqiq under the tongue of the person who's died. Yes? That was number 3. Then he said to him, number 4. Tell our Shia not to neglect Salat al-Layl. Yes? Namaz al-Shab. Let our Shia be of those who pray Salat al-Layl. Then he said to him, number 5. And now he began with the ones that were close to the hearts of Al Muhammad. He said, tell our Shia not to neglect Ziyarat Ashura of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Yes? That was number 5. Number 6. Tell our Shia to memorize the khutbah of Fatima al-Zahra when Fadak was taken. Because it will build the love of fighting injustice at all times. Yes? Imagine that khutbah, which is over 15 pages long. That person is telling Ayatollah Najaf Marashi, says to him, tell our Shia, memorize the khutbah of Fatima al-Zahra. Then, memorize khutbah shaqshaqiyya of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib when he talks about the years when the Khilafah was taken from him in Nahj al-Balagha. Look at the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. They want us never to forget these sermons because these sermons are building our communities. Number 8, according to different narratives, what's number 8? Let them not forget the sermon of Sayyida Zainab in Sham. Allah. At that moment, Najaf Marashi began to cry. Who doesn't cry when they remember Zainab in Sham? Yes? Whose heart isn't it with Zainab in Sham? Tonight, Zainab has a few zawar around her. Yes? Those of you who've been to Sham, I don't even need to say anything else to you. I really don't. As in those who've been to Sham, and you can't let a tear out for Zainab, then what did Sham mean to you when you sat by Zainab's grave? The lover of Zainab, his heart is with Zainab in Sham on a night like this. Najaf Marashi says, I began to cry. I heard khutbah shaqshaqiyya, I heard khutbah fadak. I began to cry. He said, then I realized when he said to me, tell our Shia, it must be him. He said, I looked up and he wasn't there anymore. And it struck me at that moment, Sahib al-Zaman's heart still is with Zainab, yes? His heart is with Zainab, Aqilat al-Talibiyin, and the Fawatim who were there in Sham. And no doubt that sermon, what a sermon, with chains around the wrists of the granddaughter of Rasulullah, yes? With Imam Zain al-Abidin saying, I saw them poke my auntie with their spears on her waist. Allahu Akbar. Zainab, not just dhulm while she's alive, even after she died, Zainab is madluma, yes? He says, Wallah, they poked their spears into her waist. The granddaughter of Rasulullah has spears in her waist, yes? But did it stop her? No, it didn't. Although the plight has made me speak to you, Yazid, I find speaking to you of little value. But scolding you is great, therefore I'll continue to scold you. The eyes are tearful, the heart is sorrowful. How ironic it is that the members of the party of Allah are killed by the members of the party of Shaitan. Then she said, oh Yazid, do you think you will obliterate our love and our memory from the hearts of the people? Your ideas are transitory and your government is unstable. Soon you'll meet the cry of Allah, Ala la'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimeen. You know, he wanted to humiliate her. So you know what he did? He called out his wife Hind. She was sitting in the room alone. He called out, he sent one of the servants. He said, go and tell Hind to come out. I want Hind here. Hind was sitting down in her room. The servant came to her. She said to her, oh Hind, said yes. Said, the emperor wants you to come out. He said, why? He said, make sure that you get dressed up. She said, why? He said, there's a group of rebels from a land called Karbala. Yes? He is parading them. He wants you to sit next to him on the throne. She got ready. This Hind who used to be young in the house of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Yes? This Hind who had known Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hussein. She had known Zainab and Kulthum. And now this Hind comes out. She sat on her throne. Sayyidah Zainab was sitting next to Kulthum. Sayyidah Zainab turned around to Kulthum. She said, Kulthum, do you recognize who that is? Kulthum said, no, I don't. She said, do you remember Hind when she was younger in our house? She said to her, yes. She said, that's Hind on the throne. Hind could see the two of them whispering. So she looked towards Sayyidah Zainab. She said, excuse me, where are you people from? And that moment the reply was, we are from the land of Medina. Allahu Akbar. Hind came down from her throne. She sat on the ground. And at that moment Sayyidah Zainab looked at her and she said, why are you sitting on the ground? She said to her, out of respect for the land of Medina, when I was younger I served in a house in Medina. Sayyidah Zainab said to her, whose house? She said, I don't know if you know the man. She said to her, tell me his name. She said, the house of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Allahu Akbar. At that moment Sayyidah Zainab said to her, yes, I know him. When Hind looked towards her, she said to her, may I ask you about some of the members of that house? Allahu Akbar. Sayyidah Zainab said to her, ask me about any of them. She said to her, may I ask you about Abu Abdullah? Where is he now? Sayyidah Zainab turned, she said, do you see that head on the spear? That's the head of Abu Abdullah. She then said to her, may I ask you about Abu al-Fadl? Where is Abbas right now? She said to her, there is the head of Abbas. But the next question broke the heart. She said to her, where is Zainab al-Hashimiyya? Allahu Akbar. Sayyidat Zainab, what did she reply? She said to her, if you're asking me about Zainab al-Hashimiyya, I don't know where she is. If you ask me about Zainab al-Masbiyya, Zainab the prisoner, then I am Zainab in front of you. At that moment Hind ran out of the court of Yazid. Her hijab came off. Yazid said, Hind, wear your hijab, how dare you? She said to him, Yazid, you tell me about my hijab. How about the hijab of the daughters of Fatima al-Zahra? Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون واللعنة الدائمة على القوم الظالمين. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise us with the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. Ya Allah, allow us to be amongst the companions of the Imam. Ya Allah, allow us to view the Imam. Allow us to be amongst those who rise with him against injustice. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Surah Al-Fatiha. Before it, the loudest of your salawat. loudest of your salawat. Loudest.